Hello, hello, hello. I know this is not the weekly upload, and this is just me. This is just Brandon. So after watching the episode we put out last Friday, we loved our interview with Kendra from Kennedy College, and her insight into like how Lollapalooza works and what she's doing to get students working in that space. So what we wanted to do is we just wanted to throw up a quick upload of just that section. So yeah, this is it. This is just a little intro, so it's not going straight from the music to that. And yeah, enjoy. We're in. Guys,
Okay.
we have another interview.
Yes.
Kendra, why don't you introduce ourselves? This is part of our Lollapalooza, as we're calling it. We're just talking about like probably the biggest event in our little space. So introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
All right. So, hello. My name is Kendra Torres. I am the Associate Dean of Continuing Education at Kennedy King College, City Colleges of Chicago. Outside of that, I am a general Chicago resident. I love Chicago, except for during the winter times. And continuing education, those are your non-credit personal and professional development classes. So they range from swimming, dance, meditation, yoga to high-tech certifications or certifications in other industries, pending what the industry is. So yeah, nice to meet everybody here.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I went through a similar program through Chicago Portfolio School, which was like non-credited, like professional, like development courses. So I know how important those could be, especially in creative spaces.
Yeah, and especially right now, as a lot of students are looking to take short-term classes and that lead to high impact salaries and jobs. And so that's really what my department does.
Yeah. So like,
Yes, you-
yeah, go ahead, Purvis.
Right.
Start it off.
yeah, I was actually going to like kind of get into our topic then because the way I was introduced through our connection, our family friend through Leah and Isaac, you've actually had a unique experience in combining exactly what you mentioned within the school and what our topic with Lollapalooza. So, with some of the topics that you're actually teaching there at the school, can you kind of walk us through how you made your way into Lala and all those type of things?
So I'll focus on Lala. We can talk about the other programs a little later. But so Lollapalooza, that was really a cool experience because maybe back in 2020, I had the opportunity to meet with Live Nation and C3 Presents representatives, and they were actually looking to utilize our facilities for a possible career fair. So I helped to work with those reps to build out the career fair. I met Louisa Wyatt. She's been a huge part of this process of even getting the class to Kennedy King. But we'll start off with the career fair. They wanted to hold a career fair to help expose people on the South Side to the entertainment industry, and not just the artists that you typically see at the festivals, but they wanted to be able to show the job opportunities that come with these large festivals that people don't even realize exist, that are high salary, just amazing jobs that honestly, if I wasn't here at Kennedy King, I'd probably be trying to get a job there.
Yeah.
And also they wanted to be able to allow people to network with each other because, again, exposure is really important, especially the people of color who are not typically exposed to these various careers. So from that, initially meeting with them, we coordinated the Lollapalooza Entertainment Career Fair, which was the first one was held in April of 2021. They were actually able to bring Rhymefest, who used to work with Kanye West. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with him, but he's a
Very
Chicago
familiar.
artist.
Yeah, very
Mhm.
Okay,
familiar.
yeah.
Like,
They brought him here to the school. We had workshops. Attendees were able to participate in workshops and kind of just learn the behind the scenes a little bit. They were also able to do the career fair where they went table to table to see what areas they might be interested in, whether it's might be lighting or stage build out or just the part of the festival where you're working with vendors to be present at these festivals that sell items and whatnot. From there, after that fair, they actually had decided to move it to Malcolm X College, which is on the west side of Chicago. Now it's a part of City Colleges as well, but they just wanted to see, how it did there. When we had that fair, the festival or the career fair here, we had about 350 attendees, and several of our students actually obtained jobs.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was the major goal. So that was really exciting to find that out. They came back to us in, was it September or October of last year, 2022. And the main person, again, Louisa Wyatt, she's awesome. So I'll always throw her name out there. She works for C3 Presents, and again, they work with Live Nation. She came and introduced me to a person named Jeff McCluskey, who was really big in the entertainment industry, mainly music festivals. And he already has an organization that has they have these classes like I believe it's like Lollapalooza University. There's also Emmy Grammy University, Bonnaroo University classes, and they offer them currently at DePaul, but that's about it here in Illinois. Now they also are offered at other institutions. I know one in Texas, and I believe one in Philadelphia or DC. Don't quote me, but they were looking to have more students of color and see how can we really, again, just make great opportunities for students to transfer into those career fields. And so they brought the class to us. At the time, I wasn't even in my role now. I was the director of special projects, but I was transitioning to my role. And so once I got into this role in February, I took off running. I worked with our president, President Katanya Webb Walker, to identify the instructor, and we found the perfect instructor. Unfortunately, he's not able to be present right now, but his name is Morshawn Robinson. He also teaches at I can't think of the name, but it's another college downtown that just does focuses on music and sound engineering, from what I'm aware of.
Is it like Illinois Media School?
It's SAE. Hold on, let me see.
Oh yeah, I went to Columbia, so like I'm familiar with like all the like little colleges that kind of orbit in the loop.
Yeah, so it's SAE Institute, and it's a really good institution as well. Of course, I'm always going to shout out Kennedy King because I'm here and I do love where I work. And but anyway, so he's actually won a Grammy and he has an Emmy, and then he currently works in the entertainment industry now, even as a professor. He does this almost like a side job, being a professor of different classes, and then his main jobs are, well, he has his own business, and then he also works various festivals. So once we found our instructor, it was just a matter of implementing the class. The coolest part about our class being here at Kennedy King is that we were able to pay our students to do this work.
Oh, that's super cool. That's super cool. Yeah,
that's different.
The entire week.
Yeah.
They were given a stipend. Now they weren't there like physically putting stuff together, but they were attending workshops at Lollapalooza. So kind of behind the scenes, meeting industry leaders, and just really networking. And it was a really amazing process. I got to go on Saturday, and we had backstage 4-day passes, although I only attended Saturday because my son, his birthday was Friday. So big celebration.
Yeah.
But
happy belated birthday.
But it was a really great experience, and we're going to have the class again every year, and it actually is going to continue to grow.
Yeah.
And so
that's awesome. Now,
yeah,
what's like the curriculum for a class like that, like outside of like the 4 days that Lollapalooza takes over Grant Park? What are these students doing on the day-to-day?
So essentially, it's a 4-week class right now. Again, we're looking to have the class grow. But the very beginning of the class, is a 2-day a 2 days a week class outside of Lala. So they did have to be at Lala Monday through Sunday, actually.
Oh wow.
Um,
Okay.
yeah. But the class in the beginning, they learn about I guess, the history behind music festivals. I have the syllabus right here in front of me. The second week was cultural connection of music festivals. And then the third week is learning about the financial part of it. And really digging deep down into like those details that people don't even think about, like the marketing part, the partnerships with large corporations. Like I would say a good example is thinking about maybe if there was a Tito's
Yeah.
state. So that partnership right there, right?
We were
They're
right there.
learning.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they were learning
Yeah.
about the cost of that and how profit is kind of split up. Then they went into the concepts and creation. Now, mind you, I'm the associate dean of continuing ed, so I'm not the actual instructor, but I do have the syllabus in front of me. And then, the last week was being actually at Lollapalooza, and then this week has been a recap of everything and students submitting like a final presentation, discussing their experience. So it really was, straightforward.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
There's a question I am dying to ask you, and it is, like, do you see a connection between like the people who take these classes and the kinds of people who create the music that like blossoms into like, you know, the Chicago music scene? And like, do you have thoughts about like economic empowerment and like its relationship to like people actually making the stuff we all love?
So yeah, I definitely do see the connection. I'm sorry, you had a couple of different questions in there.
I'm verbose.
But
we'll take it one step at a time.
Yeah, there's definitely a connection there. And I think that's also the part that first intrigues people to even take this type of class first, because they're thinking about the music and the artist, right? And then essentially, once they really learn, once they take the class and kind of learn the history behind it and what all it entails, it builds the interest. And so, this is also supported through the city of Chicago as well, which is a huge deal because they need more people working in these festivals. And I don't want to just say like working the festivals, like being there to help set up and to help, clean up and whatnot, like not those jobs, but those are important jobs as well. So let's not overlook them.
Oh yeah.
But they need, I would say, more people of color actually helping to coordinate these festivals. One thing I will say is that while I was there, I enjoyed my experience so much, but I did notice the difference in and what I was expecting. I was expecting a diverse crowd, and I was kind of surprised. And again, this was my first time at Lollapalooza. I've never been.
Okay,
but
so this was the first time.
No.
Yeah, it was my first time. I get very anxious around large crowds, so I really never attended. When you're a Chicagoan, sometimes you're like, I'm gonna stay away from downtown while this is going on because you can't even get through traffic.
Yeah.
But I will say that as it ties to equity and as it ties to workforce development, we see a need for more people of color because they haven't had this access in the past, or there hasn't been space at the table or made aware of. I'm sure there's been space at the table, but if you're not aware of the opportunities, you're not going to really go for it. And I think that's a big part of why people tend to, when they approach the music industry, they tend to go the artist route, at least, instead of also looking at the other opportunities. You don't really know until you're in the industry.
Yeah.
And so
That
I think
is so
it's helping, this type of class is helping to create equity for everyone. I'm sorry, did I answer your question?
You totally did. You answered it flying colors.
I'm like, there are
flying
a couple
colors.
things.
Yeah. No, that was exactly what I wanted to know. Like, I just wanted to know like some of your thoughts on like how it connects to like the people who actually make the music. Because you're right, like the demographics of the people who like go to Lollapalooza, and the demographics of the people who like make Lollapalooza a thing worth going to are different. And
Yeah.
Very true.
and like we should seriously investigate why and like try and fix that.
I think this is a start. I mean, I can only see it
Yeah.
really getting better, being more inclusive from here. At least that's my goal from what I do.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I'm curious then, because one thing that you did highlight, obviously every job there at Lala is important, but you want people to be in positions of power, actually behind the scenes organizing it, being responsible for how it's run. How do you get your students to find these type of jobs and transition into a real life experience? Because there's internships, there's different things like that. Do you partner with certain companies, anything like that?
So, as of right now, our partnership is with C3 Presents and Live Nation. Well, I don't want to really say Live Nation, but more so C3 Presents, right? And through events like the entertainment career fair that I spoke about, that's how students will also be able to meet industry leaders and just be able to apply for those internships that, you know, really help get them into the industry. Also through this class, the workshops that they held behind the scenes that not a lot of people can you have to be in the class to attend, but our students were there networking with everybody who that was presenting during these the presentations, I guess I could say. It was amazing because one of our students, there was a panel discussion with all female, from females of color to just females who are who work with the artists, who work in different areas of building out what Lala, the vision of Lala, right? And so after the panel discussion, she literally went to each one of them and said, "Hey, here's my resume. I'm looking for an internship or a way to get into the industry. I'm willing to do whatever it takes." And you got to be careful when you say that. But and she literally was handing out her resume. She came prepared. So that's, you know, how that's a one way, obviously, but really attending some of these career fairs is helping our students to get into that industry. Now, mind you, we also do have the instructor who has a lot of connections as well. And so when he sees a student who's really like into it and really putting forth the effort, then he will build that connection as well. So, I mean, there's so many different ways to approach it. I think it just depends on the person and how they take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of them.
Yeah, I completely understand that. Do you have any can you identify a specific success story that you like to tell or anything like that?
Yeah.
I can't really identify it. I can't say students' names or anything.
Of course, yeah. Don't.
I mean, we're still kind of waiting the results, I guess, from what happens with the students who participated in this class, and I'm sure majority of them are going to get opportunities, especially the women one. No offense to all you men, but they were really putting themselves out there to try and get different opportunities, and I know it's going to come their ways. And I always keep you guys posted. I will say that again, several Kennedy King students did receive internships and jobs from the first entertainment career fair that we had back in April of 2021. And again, I can't really list names, but that was a really good thing that we have the proof of that too. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
I absolutely love that.
I love that that this is something that's actually happening in the city, because like it often feels like we identify these problems, you know, just people who are looking at it and thinking critically, and it's like, what power do we have to change it? And like, you know, the power has to come from the institutions, like education. And you know, so I see this as like very formative. And like, you know, I work in the advertising industry, and like one of the issues is that like there's this big push to get like people of color in there, but like they don't know where to look. Like they don't have people of color to like tell them like where to look and like what the situations are and like how to actually like talk to these people. And it, you know, I'm sure that is a very common story. Like,
oh yeah, and you know, I would say tell them to look at their local colleges, community colleges.
That's what I've been saying.
Public colleges, not the. I mean, don't get me wrong. Private education is amazing too if you can afford it. I used to work at Northwestern prior to working at Kennedy King.
Oh wow.
And I loved my experience there. At the same time, I will say there's a lot of resources available to those institutions, and they get a lot of
Yeah.
funding from, alumni, but you don't really see that at your typical community college or your public institutions.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're trying to change that, obviously, but at the same time, um, we always are looking for partnerships with organizations that can really help give students impactful careers, and not just, oh, we're trying to hire somebody just to, do something, basic. And what I mean by basic, I won't go into details about that, but
That's
yeah.
we do that all the time. We're like, nah, pass. We're gonna walk past this one.
Of course. But you want to create something that's actually
but
very
you're gonna help
beneficial to
people.
lives, and I get that.
Yeah.
And it's
What have high salary impact, and what I mean by high salary is, not just hire students and be like, okay, well, here's a little $30,000. We live in Chicago. We need to, you need to pay a good quality, have a good quality pay, so they can be able to afford to live here, and not just whatever you're willing to throw at them. So,
yeah.
What are I guess speaking on that without getting too deep into details, what other challenges have you faced within this program or anything like that?
Initially, well, at Kennedy King, we've gone through transition in administration. So, honestly, my current president has been so supportive of this program from the get-go. I really didn't face too many challenges outside of cutting a cost. So what I mean by that is we have a system where you enter new courses in, and you usually have to tie a fee, and we have to justify why a class should be free. And so at first it was like, well, why shouldn't you charge students to be in? It's like, well, this is a pilot class. And on top of that, this is, you don't need to charge students for everything. It was a great opportunity, and we just wanted to, our goal was made really just to expose students to the opportunity. So another was probably finding the right instructor, because not every instructor has the same experience. Some instructors actually have industry experience, some instructors don't, and they just teach the experience without really having it. Our instructor had that experience, and it was amazing, because even students from the other institution that participated in this were coming to our instructor like, hey, how do I sign up to take your class? And what do I need to do to be your intern? Or can you hire me? And I was like, okay, well.
That is awesome.
That's awesome.
God, the other issue I don't want to say issue. The other obstacle maybe was just making sure that students get paid, and making sure that we find funding for that. And we, the president was able to, so it was great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, no, it sounds like you guys.
We want to pay students to do this. And the reason why we paid is because, to be at Lolla from Monday through Sunday, and also having to take time off from work. A lot of students who come to community colleges, they work regular jobs, I don't want to say 9 to 5, but they have jobs, they may have children, they might have other responsibilities. So giving them a stipend as an incentive, I think, and a lot of them didn't even realize they were getting this incentive. So that was, I don't know, my proud moment, because I'm excited.
Super cool. That's like the coolest thing I've ever heard about a job program. Because
this is better than my whole
the
college
amount, because the amount of free labor I had to do to get a job is obscene and unethical. Yeah. So it is so refreshing to hear someone actually put their money where their mouth is, quite literally. And kudos to you for spearheading this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this, I apologize, I have 1% left on my phone.
Oh my God.
It's okay. Well, we need one last thing.
Oh, nope, she's gone.
And there it is.
There it is.
Close.
And movie magic, right?
Movie magic.
Yeah, movie magic.